Hi everyone, Palmen Motorradsport here with Lennox Lehmann.
Hey guys.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I can't complain.
You had your first weekend in IDM Supersport, so new adventure for you
Yes.
on a 600cc. And what's the balance about this weekend?
I was not too bad. In qualifying we finished P3, so first row start on the debut. Race 1 was also not bad from the pace. I could have been on the podium, but I completely sucked at the start and went from P3 on the grid to P15 after the first corner. So quite some ground to make up, but wasn't too bad. Finished in P7. Race 2 was a bit more difficult. We had always some light rain, and we thought, okay, it's going to be a rain race. We put on wet tires, then it was too dry. We switched back to slicks. Then it was a red flag because of the rain again, but we decided to stay on slicks, and it was the right decision. Start wasn't too good again. Lost some ground, and another rider hit me. My airbag went off for 2 laps. I was looking like a bodybuilder, but no. Also good race. The pace was there to even fight for the victory, but yeah, unfortunately didn't finish on the podium. Had quite a moment in the last lap, third last corner, almost high-sided out of it, but finishing P4, and I think that's a good debut.
It was a very good debut for you. A pity that you had a couple of unfortunate events during race 2. You were riding basically your open airbag.
Yeah,
open airbag.
exactly.
I guess it was also difficult to breathe, right?
Yeah, for 2 laps, and then it went away the air. But for the 2 laps, it was more like no breathing at all.
It was good that you still kept the pace, and then you were very close to the podium.
Yeah, for sure. It was pretty close. 1 or 2 laps more, and I could have had the podium. But we got some more races to go. Only the first one of the season, and I'm sure the podium will come later on.
What's your goal instead for the whole season?
I would be happy to finish in top 5, but it's difficult for me to say after the first race. There's so much things that can happen. I can crash, other people can crash, which can promote me in the championship. So I'll just go from race to race and try to have fun.
And this step came after some seasons you spent in Supersport 300, also in the World Supersport 300. We will get there, but first I would like to ask you to talk about your career from the very start. How do you get passionate about motorcycle racing, and if you can tell a bit about your career so far?
I started it was more like an accident, because a good friend of my dad had the mini moto team, and he just asked us, hey, do you want to come and try it? Maybe it's something for me. And yeah, I went there, had fun, and then only a week after I did my first race. One year I did the national championship. Wasn't licensed or nothing, so just for fun, and then we went into the ADAC. Did 1 year in the mini motos, then we stepped up one size. Was also not a big bike, but yeah, 2 years spent there, and then I went on the big tracks in 2018 with the ADAC Junior Cup. Rode there for 2 years again. Won the second year. I won the title. Then I moved on into Supersport 300 in the IDM. For 2 years, won both years the title, and then came the move to World Supersport 300 for the last 2 years. I had some good races, some not so good races, but overall I think the career is just gonna start now.
If you can tell a bit more about the highlights, let's say, of the years you spent in IDM Supersport 300, where you also won the titles, which were like the best races, really?
For sure, in 2020, the first year in IDM, the highlight was the last race weekend in Hockenheim. I finished on both races in P2, which in the end secured me the championship. 2021, probably Lehmann was my first race win in IDM. I won the first title without even finishing first in a race.
Oh.
In 2022 in the World Championship was for sure Aragon, where he finished both races on the podium after starting from 25th on the grid.
Yeah.
And yeah, for sure last year was Most, where I got the first victory in the World Championship.
Of all these races, which one is the best, really, the best?
The best race? I'd say Most, because I won.
You'd say Most because you won in particular conditions also,
yes,
right?
Exactly. Difficult conditions, a lot of people have done mistakes, change tires. I just decided to stay out with a slick in wet conditions, and yeah, secured my first victory.
You managed to stay on the bike, and
Yes.
you got the win. You got the
Exactly.
first win in World Championship, which is amazing. In general, what's your goal instead for the future? Looking ahead now.
I tried to be back as soon as possible in the World Championship in the World Superbike paddock, but not in the 300. My goal is to get there in the Supersport 600.
Outside racing, are you focused only on your career as a motorcycle rider, or you also do something else?
No, at the moment I'm just focused on the career as a motorcycle rider.
Yeah, and your goal is to get to the World Championship again, and
Exactly.
And then looking even further, where would you be? Where would you like to be?
The dream would be to go from Supersport 600 over to Moto2 like Manu Gonzalez, but would also be a dream to ride in World Superbike. I wouldn't say no to both of them.
You won titles in German Championship, and then you went to Supersport 300, and you were already on the podium at the first round in Aragon. But then you had also some difficult times,
Yes.
like also some crashes, some injuries. Like last year, you had a bad injury
Yes.
after in Aragon.
Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah. And what's the thing that made you move on, and what are the lessons also that you learned from those experiences? Because in the highs, okay, yeah, but in the lows,
Yeah. No, for sure. I said I definitely want to continue straight when I was in the hospital before getting surgery on the back and also the leg, because yeah, I've raced my whole life more or less. Yeah, it's just a love for the sport, and yeah, I learned quite a lot, especially last year. We had a lot of downs, some ups, but more downs than ups. But I learned a lot how to deal with them, and try to move on and to be fast for the next race, even if you have a double DNF, for example.
yeah. So to keep the motivation high always, which is the most important thing for you. And also, yeah, especially when you may have like difficult moments. You, as a young rider, maybe you may struggle sometimes in managing them, but then you get out of it with very strong motivation, like you did. And in conclusion, I would like to ask you if there's anyone you want to say thank you to for all your experiences you've had so far and what you will have in the future.
Yeah, for sure. First of all, to Dario, my trainer. He's supported me since 2018 in the Junior Cup, and he made me the rider I am now. Also, I gotta say thanks to Freudenberg, who I've been with for the last 5 years, and they brought me into the World Championship paddock. And now for this year, for this race, and also for the future, it's definitely Motorsport Kofler and Yamaha who helped me a lot to get back in IDM after the injury.
Yeah, Motorsport Kofler, which is the team that brought you to IDM Supersport. It made possible for you to step up to 600.
Exactly.
And you're doing a good job already. And
Thank
let's
you.
see what the future brings.
For sure.
Also with the advice from Dario Giuseppetti, right? Who was a 125cc World Championship rider in the past.
Exactly.
So thank you so much, Lennox.
Thanks.
And
Bye.
and see you around.
See you around. Bye.
Bye bye.